Prince William broke the
King
blue
Charles
wax seal
III
on a
is
vellum
often
envelope that
defined
had
by
not
his
been touched
lifelong
since August of
passions.
1997. What his mother had written inside would force a confrontation inside the British royal family that nobody in that palace was prepared for.
Dies.
Diana had not
everything
left a
shifts
farewell.
instantly.
She
Because
had
in a
left a
British
legal
monarchy,
weapon.
there is no gap.
Precise. Witnessed. Enforceable. Within hours of reading those 3 pages, William had sent a single photocopy to Clarence House. And the moment Camilla read the first 4 lines, she cancelled a national television interview, shut her office door, and called her lawyers. But here's what the headlines are missing. The Duchy of Cornwall is worth £1.3 billion. The Duchy of Lancaster is worth £650 million. And Camilla? She gets nothing from either. The letter was never lost. It had been held deliberately by someone waiting nearly 30 years for the right moment. William drove to Althorpe House alone. His uncle, Earl Charles Spencer, was waiting with a small brass key attached to a faded red ribbon. They walked to a climate-controlled room in the cellar. Resting on a steel table was a scarred leather writing case. The initials, DS, were stamped in gold foil. Inside sat a single vellum envelope sealed with blue wax. The wax bore Diana's personal signet ring. And on the front, written in his mother's sharp cursive, was a single word, his name. William used his pocket knife to slice through the wax. Inside were 3 pages, dated August 14, 1997. 17 days before Paris. What he found was not a farewell. No emotional appeals. No final goodbye. It read like a formal legal memorandum. Cold. Architectural. Precise. Halfway down the second sheet, Diana had underlined a section so heavily the pen had nearly pressed through the vellum. She named Camilla directly. She specified that under no circumstances should that woman inherit, utilize, or publicly associate herself with Spencer family jewels, ancestral property, or ceremonial titles. The restrictions were not vague. They were the kind of language a court could read without ambiguity. William reached back into the envelope. His fingers found something small and solid. A tiny gold charm dropped into his palm. Shaped like a polo mallet. Engraved with 2 initials, D and W. He recognized it immediately. It had been part of a charm bracelet Diana wore constantly throughout his childhood. There was no note explaining its presence. There did not need to be. The charm was her signature in a language that no forger could replicate. It told William that the hands which sealed this envelope belonged to nobody else. Now let's talk about what this letter actually cost Camilla. The Duchy of Cornwall is worth £1.3 billion. It passed to William the moment Charles became king. It provides him with more than £20 million in annual income. The Duchy of Lancaster is worth £650 million. Charles inherited it from his mother. It provides him with approximately £24 million each year. These estates are exempt from inheritance tax. Under a 1993 deal, assets passed from one sovereign to the next are tax-free. William had already moved £500 million from the Duchy's commercial portfolio, cutting off the financial oxygen feeding Camilla's network. And Diana's letter legally blocked Camilla from ever accessing the Spencer heirlooms. Diana's letter wasn't just emotional. It was financial. And it was
The very first time the Royal
lawyers
Horticultural
argued the
Society,
document
where
was
Charles
just a
succeeded his late mother as patron,
Without the
was hosting a major
attention,
5-day.
its legal validity couldn't be verified. But Camilla already knew it was real. She had recognized Diana's handwriting before she finished the first line. The argument lasted until midnight. William had anticipated it precisely. At 10 o'clock that evening, Dr. Elizabeth Vance, retired Scotland Yard forensic handwriting analyst, arrived at Kensington Palace. She spent 2 hours analyzing the ink, the paper stock, the witness signatures. The verdict was unambiguous. This was not a draft. It was a fully executed legal document. Authenticated to the last fiber of its paper. By 2 a.m., the primary line of defense had collapsed. William arrived at Windsor Castle. He placed the original vellum pages on the coffee table. Beside them, the 2 gold charms side by side. He stated the position plainly. The document had been forensically verified. The Spencer trustees were prepared to file a public injunction if the terms were not met. William laid out 2 conditions, both non-negotiable. Camilla's office would sign a formal declaration renouncing any future oversight of the Duchy of Cornwall finances, and the Spencer heirlooms would be returned to Althorpe House. Charles instructed his staff to draft the executive orders immediately. Camilla picked up a pen. She signed. Then she walked out without a word. This story was never really about a letter, or jewelry, or a gold charm. It was about £1.3 billion. It was about 26 years of hidden truth. And it was about a 17-year-old boy who was told not to worry. Diana had written those 3 pages in August of 1997, beyond the reach of the Royal Archives, before William was old enough to understand what she was building. She had always been thinking that far ahead. They simply had not been paying attention. Subscribe to the Meghan Markle Report for more royal investigations. Drop your thoughts below. Was William right to enforce Diana's letter? I read every single comment. See you in the next one.